Reggie Miller, Angels fan, Hall of Famer. He'll be on the call with Mike Tirico and Jamal Crawford. It's the Knicks and the Bucks tonight on NBC and Peacock. Tip off at 8 Eastern. How does that feel to be an Angels fan watching Shohei Ohtani?
Theodore, I am so glad you brought this up because I need to know this because I need to know the inner circles. How in the world did my beloved California Angels, I'm not even going to call them the Los Angeles, they're the California Angels to me. How could we have ever seen Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout in the same uniform on the same team? How could we ever see Shohei walk out the door? Now, I know he was a free agent and he could go anywhere he want, but we should have gave him part ownership of that team. There's no way he should have ever. And not only does he leave, he goes right down the road to the Dodgers. It kills me. It kills me. And I know it's not very popular to be an Angel fan in Dodgerland. But I grew up because of my brother Durrell, as you know. I'm a diehard Angel fan, and it just. How? Come on, talk to me like I'm a kindergarten, please.
They should have given him part of Disneyland. They should.
Yes. Whatever he wanted, they should have given it to him. Whatever he wanted.
Is there the best two-way? So pitching and hitting, he's probably the greatest baseball player of all time. But the best two-way player in NBA history is.
In terms of basketball?
Yeah, best two-way player in the NBA in history.
I would say, Kawhi comes to mind. Two-way, offense and defense, right?
But he's not better offensively than Jordan, and he's not better defensively than Jordan.
I would say he's on par defensively with Jordan. He's not offensively as good as Jordan.
Okay. Elijah won.
Ding ding for the win. Oh, here's another one. Kareem.
Early in his career.
Okay, well, early in his career he was that. I would say Kareem or Hakeem.
Because I know it's not apples to apples with what Otani is doing. But you do have to play defense, and Mahomes doesn't have to play defense in the NFL.
Correct.
So just to be able to go to the other end and not be a liability, or to be a stopper. I don't know. Do we have stoppers anymore in the NBA?
I will say in today's generation, in today's games, I would put Giannis in that category. He averages 30, but he does a good job on the defensive end. I think last season's MVP. SGA. Shea is a pretty good two-way player as well. Gives you 32 at one end, and I think he was second in steals a year ago. Those two guys come to mind again. I mentioned Kawhi Leonard.
Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, he's changing the game, right? He is. Every time you turn into a Spurs game, you're going to see something new. So last night it was the 360 layup. Right? He will do one thing when you leave that arena or watching that game going, I got to see more.
He took a logo three. He took a logo three. And he's got good form.
He's got great form. And I think just looking at him, it looks like he's put on not a lot of weight, but he looks like he's a little bit more, I don't know, more comfortable in his skin. He put on like maybe 10 pounds or something, but he's much more comfortable out there on the floor. And for them to be undefeated at this point, I know it's early. It's only a week into the season. Look, they're not winning the championship, but I like how they are playing as a young team.
And you're seeing him. He should have been Defensive Player of the Year. He didn't play enough games to qualify. He's only 21. He can guard the perimeter from the paint. He's averaging 6 blocks. Now he can shoot the three. He's got a handle. They're putting him in different positions on the block where he can succeed. And I said this. I got Luka as the MVP this year, but after that, I've got Victor. I'm going to take Victor the next 5 years after that.
Well, look, for Luka and for Victor to win, obviously team success is going to play a counterpoint. So if the Spurs continue to play like this, I say the Spurs end in a top 4 in a loaded Western Conference. Yes, he'll win. The same with Luka. Luka and the Lakers, they've got to finish in the top 4. To me, it'd be, I think Jokic won it a few years ago, and Denver was, I believe, 6 in the Eastern or in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
So there is precedence for that, but I think if either one of those teams, the Lakers or the Spurs, finish in the top 4 in the very heavy, loaded Western Conference, one of them will win MVP.
If I said you can have Luka or you can have Victor?
Victor.
Okay. Is there any player you would take over Victor Wembanyama for, let's say, the next 5 years?
Well, he's only 21. But to me, SGA cannot go wrong. Look, opening night, watching him, and then obviously watching him last year in the finals and that playoff run, and watching it up close as personal as a fan. I mean, this dude has it all. I mean, when the game is on the line, he knows how to create his own shot. He knows how to create for others. And again, I look at the other end as well. I think that's what made Michael so great. Not only was he giving you 40 in the playoffs, but he was shutting me down in the playoffs as well.
He didn't shut you down.
But that, to me, that's what SGA, he plays at both ends of the floor. So to me, I wouldn't trade either one of those players right now.
If I said you could have SGA or Luka?
Oh, my God. Oh, I would take SGA.
Really?
Yeah, I'm taking SGA.
You're in love.
Because you got to play the other end of the court. Luka's getting there. I mean, he's getting there.
Yeah.
Luka, now I will say this. To me, Luka's a better scorer than Wemby and SGA. But there's two sides to the ball. You know that.
All right.
There's two sides.
Reggie is on the call. The Knicks visit the Bucks, NBC and Peacock tonight at 8 Eastern. I was wondering about this where we talk about shooting form. You're one of the great shooters of all time. But would you teach your son how to shoot the way you shoot? Or would you try to have him emulate somebody else?
I would have him shoot the way he's comfortable shooting. Shooting the basketball are like fingerprints. Everyone's fingerprints are different. Everyone's going to shoot the basketball different. So there's no way I would tell my son to shoot like me or Clay. Now, I might reference like a Ray Allen or a Klay Thompson in terms of their form and their follow-through, but in terms of how you hold the basketball and your release form, because I was unorthodox. I had my elbow out. That wasn't textbook. You look at Stephen Curry. He's not textbook shooter, but we know he's the best shooter of all time, and he goes in. Everyone shoots the basketball different. You can have talking points about other players, but I would want my son to shoot how he's comfortable shooting.
Yeah, I always wondered that because your release was unorthodox. But it's it's kind of like golf swings. As long as everybody ends up at the same spot when they get to the ball with the club, but was your follow through the same as anybody else, though, when you released it?
The thing that, and if you watch all these great shooters, and you can go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, as long as your shoulders are in line with the rim, it doesn't matter if your elbow's like this, as long as these are square to the rim, where mine always was, it doesn't matter what your release form is and how you get the ball off. As long as your shoulders are in line with the rim, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but Larry Bird made fun of my release because he said, your shoulder, it's out. And I go...
But hold on, look at his release.
I know.
Look up. And what I tried to do when I got to high school and college, I copied a lot of shooters, Larry being one of them, because Larry shot so high and he shot over his head into his left. I took a lot from Dale Ellis, who was another great player coming off screens. He shot the ball like right in front of his like face almost. So I would on the court, depending on the situation, if I was coming off and getting ready to shoot over my right shoulder off a pin down screen, I shot like Larry. I would get the ball on a high release. When I was curling coming off my left shoulder and a chance to get in the rim, it's a much quicker release. So it was more catch and shoot like a Dale Ellis. So I would pick and choose different shooters that I respected their games and how they released the basketball and incorporated that into my very unorthodox release and shot.
You love the Knicks to win the East, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do. We mentioned this last week with Boston and Indiana, the injuries to their 2-star players. It's wide open, but to me, it's Knicks or bust. Though, I mean, they just beat the Cavaliers opening night. The Cavaliers will have something to say. I still think Cleveland will win the East in terms of their record. They'll have the number 1 seed. But I do think once New York really figures out Mike Brown's system, pace and space and getting up threes, because they're not used to playing like this. They played half court basically under Tom Thibodeau. Mike Brown wants them to run, get up, get a lot of threes up. So it's going to take some time for them to get and condition their legs, their lungs to play that way, Theodore.
The Sixers backcourt, I love Maxey, and now you get Edgecombe in there, and I know you're not going to get Paul George anywhere near what they hope to get, and even Joel Embiid, that's going to be a real slow
But if
process.
those two guys give them anything, right, and those guards continue to play, Kelly Oubre had 25 last night for them as well. If he can give them contribution, to me, they're one of those teams that you don't know, because if the big fella turns into the big fella like his MVP campaign, well, the Knicks, that's a different story. Paul George doesn't have to carry the load like he used to anymore because of injuries. To me, it's Tyrese Maxey's team, right? And that young kid,
Edgecombe.
Edgecombe, I mean, that's an impressive start to a season. So his confidence is there. But if the big fella turns into the big fella and can remain healthy, to me, the Sixers they're one of those scary outs.
What was the most concerning or damning thing about the FBI investigation that stood out with the NBA to you?
Well, let me break this down. It's two different, separate incidences.
Yeah.
So Terry Rozier and Damon Jones are all about the rigged and the parlays and the over-unders, whereas Chauncey's is about fixed poker games. And I'm wrapping my head around this because I come back to the reason of why. Like, why would these guys jeopardize their career and their livelihoods for something like this? I mean, I've known you a long time, and this goes back to high school for me, and even in college. You can relate to this. You weren't even almost allowed to say the word bet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like a taboo. And in today's society, with partnerships with FanDuel and DraftKings and all these betting sites, it's very murky. And I just wonder why these guys would put everything on the line for a short amount of glory. I just don't get it. You know, your boys are supposed to be around you to protect you, not exploit you. And that's in terms of Terry Rozier and Damon Jones. I'm somewhat sad with the Chauncey thing because we've known Chauncey for a while. He is one of the best dudes you'll know. And again, we don't know everything.
But I wonder if they got compromised, Reg. I wonder if they
But
might
how
have.
do
You get in the hole.
But how do you get compromised? Why? My point is, why would you put yourself in that situation to be compromised?
You don't think you're going to lose that kind. You know, Barkley's talked about that. You end up losing $1 million. And then all of a sudden you got to pay it back. And then what if you can't pay it back? And then they say, here's how you pay it back. You bring in these people and play poker, and we're going to take their money.
Well, if that is the case, which I hope it's not, that even makes my stomach even turn even more. Because again, why put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, but Terry Rozier and Damon Jones are probably thinking nobody is going to notice. That's why people do. Jonte Porter lived in a vacuum, Reg. He's like, nobody's going to be following my over-unders. Well, they don't until somebody puts $100,000 on your over-under. Now you got Vegas. And I think maybe Rozier and Damon Jones, they live in a vacuum. Like, hey, I got some information for you. Make sure, you give me a kickback of $2,500. They're not thinking they're going to get caught.
Look, it's, again, we don't know everything. I certainly don't know everything. I have more questions than answers for you. This is a sad day for sports, for the NBA. I'm sure they're going to relook how their betting odds are, their over-unders on certain players.
Well, you got to take away prop bets. You got to, because that's so easy to manipulate, because everybody knows what their prop bets are. You got the Bucks game tonight. I got Giannis's over-under rebounds at 12.5.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know what you can do. I don't know what you can do.
Would you rather go back and talk about the Angels and Shohei Ohtani?
I don't know what hurts me more, this betting thing or Shohei leaving the Angels.
Have fun tonight. Tell Mike Tirico and Jamal Crawford, second best scorer on the broadcast team.
Now, now you're trying to get me going.
No, you're the number one.
Okay, yes.
He's two. No, you're not two.
Okay.
You're the best. You're the best shooter. I haven't seen Tirico
I'm definitely
shoot.
the best shooter, but in terms of handling games, because look, Jamal can go out. Jamal can give either one of these teams tonight. He could give them 15, 20 minutes right now.
Seriously?
Yes, he could. Jamal could.
That'd be great.
Jamal could probably get 10 points tonight in tonight's game. Now, they'll probably have to play zone, but he could give them 10 points.
That'd be a great story.
That would.
It'd be great if he could play in a game and then come over and broadcast. Now, the NBA's got enough to worry about that. We don't need to do this.
Enough problems. Stop it.
All right, we're going to stop. He's Reggie Miller. You'll find him tonight at 8 Eastern. Mike Tirico, Reg, and Jamal Crawford. It's the Knicks and the Bucks. Thanks, bud.
Thank you, Theodore. Appreciate my Danettes. Love you guys.
Coast to Coast Tuesday night. Maria Taylor is your studio host. Carmelo, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. Wow. Be a good lineup.